You've probably seen this all over the internet, right? Claims that eating alkaline foods can completely transform your health, while acidic foods are the bad guys causing disease. It's a huge debate, and honestly, it can get pretty confusing. So today, we're going to cut through all that noise and get right to the facts. Let's get into it. The whole entire debate really boils down to this one simple question. Now, it seems straightforward, but the answer, well, it's a lot more complex and way more fascinating than you'd think. So for real, can that salad or steak actually throw your body's entire chemistry off balance? Let's find out. Okay, first things first, a super quick science refresher. The pH scale is basically our map here. Anything below 7, think lemon juice or black coffee, is acidic. Anything above 7, like baking soda, is alkaline. And right in the middle, at 7, that's perfectly neutral, like pure water. This is the one concept you've got to keep in mind as we go. All right, so what is all the buzz about? People who are into this say that our modern diet makes our bodies way too acidic, and that by eating alkaline foods, we can fix that and improve our health in some pretty big ways. But before we get into whether that's true, we need to understand how our body handles this stuff on its own. Now this is probably the most important number in this whole conversation. Your blood pH is kept in an incredibly tight, slightly alkaline range. I mean, your body has these powerful systems, your lungs, your kidneys, and they are working 24/7 to make sure it stays right there. If it moves outside that tiny window, that's a life-threatening medical emergency, not something that happens because you had a cheeseburger for lunch. So that kind of begs the question, right? If our bodies are already total pros at managing pH, what exactly are these diets supposed to be doing? I mean, if they're not changing our blood, what are they trying to influence? This is where we really get to the heart of their claims. Okay, so let's define what we're even talking about. What do people actually mean when they say acidic and alkaline foods? And here's the twist. It's not about how the food tastes. It's all about what supposedly happens after you digest it. So, on one side of the ring, you have what's considered an acidic diet. We're talking lots of animal proteins, meat, dairy, plus processed foods, sugars, and a lot of grains. And on the other side, the alkaline diet, which is just packed with fruits, veggies, nuts, and seeds. I mean, you can already see a pretty big difference in the general quality of the food here. Now, the core theory behind all this is something they call metabolic ash. The idea is that when your body metabolizes food, it leaves behind this chemical residue. So acid-forming foods supposedly leave an acid ash, while alkaline-forming foods leave an alkaline ash. And it's this ash that the diet proponents claim is what really impacts your health. So that's the theory. It sounds kind of plausible, but what does the actual science have to say about it? Let's try and separate the myths from the reality. This is really the moment of truth, isn't it? Do these diets actually do what they say they do? Do they prevent disease, make your bones stronger, all by changing your body's pH? Let's take a look at what the research actually shows. And this table really shows where the confusion comes from. Look, the so-called alkaline diet, because it's full of plants, is naturally high in vitamins, minerals, and fiber. And yeah, that can support bone health, help with weight management, and might lower your risk for chronic disease. The acidic diet, often full of processed stuff, can be calorie-dense and might increase those risks. But notice the key word here is might. The evidence on some of these points, especially bone health, is actually pretty mixed. So let's just be absolutely 100% crystal clear on this. The main claim that you can change your blood's pH level with the food you eat is just not supported by science, period. Your body's internal systems are way too powerful for that. This is the single biggest myth we need to bust. So, if the whole pH thing isn't really the reason, why do so many people who try an alkaline diet say they feel better? Well, this quote right here just nails it. The benefits are not coming from the alkalinity, they're coming from eating more vegetables and cutting out junk food. It's basically just good nutrition wearing a pH theory costume. But hold on, that doesn't mean your diet has zero effect on your body's acid-base balance. What you eat can change the pH of your urine. A diet that's lower in acid-forming foods can also ease the acid load on your kidneys, which is a good thing. And there's even some evidence it might help preserve muscle mass as we get older. So there are some real, but much more subtle effects happening. Okay, so to make this totally crystal clear, let's just compare what these two diets actually look like on a plate. This is where the theory gets real. Look at this. On the left, you've got a typical acidic day. Bacon and eggs, a cheeseburger for lunch, steak for dinner. And on the right, an alkaline day. Green smoothie, a giant quinoa salad, and a tofu stir-fry with tons of veggies.
When you see it like this, it's not really a story of acid versus alkaline, is it? It's a story of processed foods versus whole, plant-based foods. So, let's pull this all together. If we forget about all the confusing pH labels for just a second, what is the real health takeaway here? What's the thing you can actually use? It honestly just comes down to these 3 simple steps. First, just aim for balance. You don't need to completely eliminate whole food groups. Second, focus on eating whole foods. Things that grow in the ground, not things that come in a crinkly package. And third, just make a conscious effort to reduce the processed stuff. That approach gives you all the benefits that people talk about with the alkaline diet, just without all the scientific confusion. And that really leaves us with a final thought to chew on. Maybe we've been asking the completely wrong question this whole time. Instead of getting bogged down in pH charts and acid ash, what if we just simplified everything and just asked one question? Is this real food? That one question, that might just be the most powerful health guide you'll ever need.